it's Sal here. Welcome back to another perfume video. I hope you're doing well. So today I am going to be telling you about my top 10 sweet perfumes that I have in my collection. But before we get started today, if you are new to the channel, then welcome. I create weekly perfume videos, so if that's something you'd be interested in, then I would absolutely love it if you would click the wee subscribe button below, and feel free to activate the notification bell as well if you would like to be notified every time I post. Also, feel free to pop over and follow me on Instagram as well. I do post fairly regularly on there, photos from my collection, updates on my life and things like that. And with all of that being said, it's time to sit back, relax, grab yourself a drink and a snack. Today I am sipping on some English breakfast tea, and let's get started with the video. So first up today, you guys, I just want to start off with one of my holy grails in my collection. This is a truly beautiful, mesmerising and, dare I say, enchanting fragrance, and that is Delina Exclusive from Parfum de Marly. Now, this fragrance does it all in my opinion. It's kind of fruity, it's bright, it's slightly fresh, but it's opulent, rich, floral, rosy, sweet, woody, ambery and kind of gourmand all at the same time. So it really is something to behold. I would really recommend sampling this just to try it for yourself, see what you think, because it really is a whole experience, particularly the way that it develops on the skin, the way it dries down. This is one of those fragrances that lasts an incredibly long time and it projects as well, but I definitely notice the kind of the way it evolves, you know, throughout the dry down, and it really is quite magical. This fragrance almost transports me somewhere else, you guys, maybe to a different time, a different era. It reminds me of whimsical romantic ball gowns, you know, old handheld style mirrors, little antique little things with stories behind them, love stories. This fragrance makes me feel kind of nostalgic or maybe thoughtful. It kind of moves me in an emotional kind of way, a way that I can't quite put my finger on, but it really is, it's just such an incredible, complex, nuanced, interesting fragrance, and of course it is a beautiful sweet scent. So this is really quite sweet. I believe it could be too sweet for some people, you know, but if you enjoy sweet scents in general and you like your powdery fragrances and you quite like rose, then I would say you definitely have to try this because it does have all of those things in there. It's a very rich, thick, heavy, opulent, royal kind of scent. It's truly amazing. Very nice and sweet, but in the most luxurious way possible, you know. So of course I would highly recommend this fragrance. The bottle is a work of art in itself as well, and I truly love this fragrance. So that is Delina Exclusive from Parfum de Marly. Next we have this stunning gourmand scent, Girl of Now from Elie Saab. Now this is for those kind of syrupy sweet fragrance lovers out there. If you enjoy your indulgent, heavy-hitting sweet scents and you enjoy your nutty notes, your orange blossom and things like that, then you definitely should give this one a try. Funnily enough, at one point I did wonder whether this was too sweet for me, and I do think it would be too sweet for many people, you know. If you're not into your syrupy fragrances, you know, you might find this one a bit too much or a bit too heavy, a bit too heady even. So bear that in mind, but if you love your syrupy sweet scents and your nutty notes and of course, you know, like I said, orange blossom, definitely check this one out. It's really beautiful. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Poison Girl, which I will come to in a minute, you know, but these two, I would say if you already love one, there's a good chance you would also enjoy the other one, but I'll come to this one in a minute. So this fragrance, it reminds me almost of a baklava dessert, like a luxurious, kind of expensive, kind of nutty, syrupy dessert. That's what this perfume kind of makes me, that's what it makes me think of. This one lasts a really long time as well. The projection is moderate, I would say. It's a really fantastic fragrance. I also love the bottle. I think it's something to behold. It's absolutely stunning with that amber juice. I say that every time, you know, because you know, the artistry of this bottle and everything, it amazes me every time, basically. So that's the stunning Girl of Now. I haven't really given the flankers a try. Maybe you could let me know in the comments if they're worth checking out. So there's Girl of Now Shine, Girl of Now Forever, and things like that. But to be honest, I've been so taken with this one, I've not really felt the need to try those ones out. And I believe one of them has a kind of pineapple note, which I'm not terribly fond of the idea of pineapple in fragrances, but you never know, maybe I would be, maybe it would surprise me, you know? So let me know in the comments if you guys have tried any of the flankers to this fragrance. Let me know if you would recommend it to me or if you think I should just stick with the original. But anyway, this is a truly beautiful, sweet fragrance. Very, very sweet indeed. Possibly too sweet for some, but if you get on with this one, it would be a real treat. So that is Girl of Now from Elie Saab. And now we have my beloved Poison Girl Eau de Parfum from Dior. This fragrance, I don't even know where to start with this one because I love it so much. So this is one of the older perfumes in my collection. I purchased this before I even started my channel. And, you know, throughout all of that time, I have loved it more and more, you know. I've never grown tired of it or anything like that. To me, this is such a unique fragrance. Let me know in the comments if you think that this is kind of a simplistic scent or if you actually think it's quite complex. Let me know in the comments because to me, this is actually fairly complex a scent. It's got something about it, you know, it's quite heavy, it's sort of multi-layered, it has a balsamic quality to it. It's really interesting with the use of almond in here, as well as your rose, your orange blossom, your bitter orange, the cashmeran in the base. I believe there's sandalwood as well. There's vanilla, of course, like a really prominent vanilla accord running through this as well. So it's overall very sweet. But the almond in here, you know, it makes it quite kind of interesting. Like the texture of it is fairly interesting, kind of powdery, thick, cloudy. This is an absolute treat, and the atomizer of this one is incredible. I'm not sure if you would classify this as a gourmand fragrance. I did receive a comment once. Somebody sort of mentioned that it reminded them of a bakery, you know, baked cakes and goodies and things like that, which I found kind of interesting because it wouldn't have occurred to me as being a overly gourmand fragrance, but then maybe it is, I don't really know. But I absolutely love this one, you guys. In my opinion, it's actually one of the best sweet perfumes I've ever tried, like ever. It's got something about it that's kind of interesting, and it's sweet in a very well done kind of way, very well executed, smooth, well blended. There's kind of interesting contrasts going on in here as well, just with the bitter orange and then the kind of sweet vanilla and almond kind of smell. It almost has this kind of sweet and sour sort of effect, which again is very addictive, very Moorish and beautiful. So that is the stunning, feminine and flirty scent Poison Girl Eau de Parfum. Next we have Gran Balo from Xerjoff, which is in this really cute, dainty, opaque white bottle. Now this is the hair mist version that I have. I don't own the original fragrance, but I'm really happy with my hair mist, particularly as this one actually lasts a fair amount of time. It's quite strong for it being a hair mist, you know. I've worn this, it's relatively new to my collection, but I've worn it maybe a handful of times at this point, and it lasts quite a long time on my hair and even on my clothes and things like that. I just kind of generally spray it as if it's a normal fragrance, and in my hair of course. But I've been really enjoying this one. It does kind of remind me of Viva La Juicy. Now I have actually done a full video on that, so I'll try and remember to leave a wee card up here in case you're interested in that comparison. One thing I will say though is at the time when I made that video, I thought, to me, they seemed almost identical. Like they seemed very similar, Viva La Juicy and Gran Balo. But now, as time has gone on and I've kind of smelt them again, I've noticed more differences between the two, and I would say that I prefer Gran Balo now. I did used to own Viva La Juicy, but that one has since been moved on to a new home. and I would say that now I would rather have Gran Balo, which I do have. I don't know if I love this one enough to purchase like the full bottle of the actual fragrance. I would say that I'm kind of happy enough with the hair mist for now, but you never know, that might change in the future. But this one it's a really stunning sweet scent. So it has a kind of similarity to Viva La Juicy, so that will kind of give you an idea of roughly how this smells if you haven't smelt this one before. I would say the prominent notes that I get from this is your honeysuckle with the caramel. Very seamlessly blended together to create this oozing, smooth kind of effect, you know. It's almost, this reminds me of when you're actually outside and you pass a honeysuckle flower and you kind of catch a whiff of it like in the wind. It almost smells very, very natural, as though you've smelt the fresh honeysuckle flower. So it's really, really nice from that point of view. The texture of this is quite unusual to me in the sense of how kind of silky smooth it is. And of course it's very feminine, very, very flirty, kind of light-hearted. This would be a really nice scent for like a daytime date. I think it's that kind of fragrance, you know, almost a similar light-hearted feeling to the likes of Armani My Way, the original Delina even, you know, perfumes like that. This has the same kind of mood to it, you know, so it's a really beautiful fragrance. I just love spraying this kind of in my hair. I enjoy using hair mists in general, but like I say, I kind of spray this all over as well, just as a normal fragrance, and it works pretty well, I would say. So this is a truly beautiful kind of sweet, smooth, floral, gorgeous fragrance, and I would recommend giving it a try if you enjoy your kind of caramelly honeysuckle type of fragrances. So that is the beautiful Gran Balo from Xerjoff. Next up today we have the stunning Juliette Hazagan. Now this fragrance is so unusual to me, and it's so inspiring that it almost verges on feeling slightly surreal in nature. This perfume, it's kind of silky smooth, but it's also kind of powdery in like a sandpaper sort of way. So this has a really, really interesting texture, you know, unlike anything I've tried before. So the main notes that I get from this fragrance is your kind of soft, creamy sandalwood note. You have your very sweet kind of caramel in here. You also have your raspberry note, which kind of adds an interesting fruity twist. But you also have your tuberose notes in here, and also I think iris. So it's kind of, I really get that woodiness from this fragrance, but it's very, it's backed up by those florals, by the kind of gourmand nature. And, you know, when all those notes come together, this fragrance, it almost has like a fizzy kind of texture to it, almost like root beer, if you can imagine that. So it's a really unique, sweet, floral, gourmand kind of scent, unlike anything I've tried. And it has that kind of fizzy, root beer like nature to it. Just utterly beautiful, very, very addictive, very Moorish. It definitely lives up to the name. I think that was quite aptly named, actually. It's a really beautiful fragrance. For some reason, this almost reminds me of Alice in Wonderland, like the Mad Hatter, something like that. The smell, it's very unusual, very, very addictive, kind of almost larger than life. It has this very fun, larger than life, surreal feeling to it, if that makes sense. And something about the bottle as well almost reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. It has these little vine sort of designs on the bottle, and it's just absolutely stunning. Next up today we have another one from the Juliette Hazagan house, and that is Lipstick Fever. I have really been enjoying this one, actually. It's a fragrance that I'd had on my wish list for a really long time, actually, because I first purchased a travel size, and I was using up my travel size, and you know, every time I used it, I knew that I would eventually end up purchasing a full bottle. So this fragrance has a kind of squeaky lid when I open it. This perfume is really unique to me. It has that very distinctive waxy, powdery makeup kind of smell to it. I think that was probably the idea of the scent, you know, it's kind of meant to smell a bit like lipstick. And it definitely reminds me of a luxurious high-end lipstick, or maybe a high-end kind of makeup counter kind of smell in general. So from what I can remember, you have your woody notes in here, cedar, I believe. You have your violet. You also have your raspberry notes in here as well. I think it's quite a simple note composition actually, but it's really very effective because you definitely get that waxy, creamy lipstick texture with like a slight powderiness as well. It's just really Moorish, really beautiful, very kind of luxe. It gives me a kind of polished feeling, if you know what I mean. It reminds me of somebody very well dressed, you know, their makeup is on point, that kind of thing. It just reminds me of a very polished, put together kind of woman, really a beautiful, everyday kind of fragrance. Very fun, light-hearted, versatile actually. You could probably wear this anywhere. It's just a very pleasant, everyday kind of scent. Definitely give it a try if you're a fan of your violet notes, your woody notes. This is actually quite an interesting scent. So when I first tried it, I thought it was quite simplistic, but then the more I wore it, I realised that there was actually a bit more to this than meets the eye, or should I say nose. When the fragrance kind of dries down, there's something almost slightly reminiscent of either a spice or maybe a leather. There's something slightly leathery in here. It's not one of the actual notes, you know, listed in here, but there's something almost slightly reminiscent to me of like a luxury leather handbag. I know Chantel Tiffany described it in that kind of way, and I would have to totally agree. So overall, this is just a really gorgeous, feminine, easy reach kind of scent, and I've been absolutely loving it. I also just love the level of sweetness that's in here. It's a truly beautiful fragrance. So that is Juliette Has Lipstick Fever. Next up today, we have a really interesting sweet kind of fragrance, and that is Insolence Eau de Toilette from Guerlain. Now, I wanted to mention this one today because it is a sweet fragrance, but for some reason it wasn't one of the obvious choices. You know, it's more of a subtle, nuanced, slightly more unusual sweet perfume. This is not your obvious tooth-achingly sweet kind of scent, but it is definitely still sweet in a very elegant, sophisticated, airy kind of way. So this has your prominent kind of violet notes. You also have your kind of tart red berries in here, and your orange blossom also. Overall, this fragrance to me, it gives me a very soft, dreamy, kind of daydreamy, nostalgic, comforting kind of feeling. It has a clean sort of nature to it. It reminds me of maybe luxury soaps, something like that. And it also kind of reminds me of fairies. I have mentioned it in my fairy video before, just because it kind of has that enchanted kind of feeling to it. I don't know exactly why that is, but it just reminds me of fairies, in particular the fairy godmother from Shrek, if you can imagine that character. Very clean, very polished, very kind of luxe as well, maybe slightly aloof. It's just an absolutely gorgeous fragrance, and it is sweet, but not too sweet, you know. Extremely elegant, timeless, classical and beautiful. So that is Insolence Eau de Toilette. Next up today we have the utterly addictive sweet scent that is the only one from Dolce and Gabbana. Now, I'm pretty sure that a lot of you enjoy this scent as well, because whenever I mention this on my channel, I do notice quite a few comments from you guys just mentioning how much you also enjoy this fragrance. You know, over the last month or so, I would say I've really noticed people talking about this on like Instagram and in the comments section of my videos and things like that. And I can really understand why. This is a truly beautiful, interesting, versatile scent. Oh my gosh, this fragrance is incredible. So it has your very prominent fruity kind of opening, and I would say the fruitiness stays, you know, throughout part of the dry down anyway. So it's that beautiful pear note in here, you know, and you have your powdery sort of violet and iris with your caramel as well. You have your coffee in here as well, which is just delightful. I love my coffee note in fragrances. I absolutely love it. I wouldn't necessarily enjoy a fragrance that just smelled like coffee, as if you had a literal cup of coffee in front of you. I wouldn't necessarily see the point in that in a perfume, but the way that it's done in here, and similarly with the likes of, you know, Black Opium, the way that it's done in both of those fragrances, I find it's quite subtle and it's nuanced, you know, and it kind of enhances the fragrance, but it's not just a coffee scent, if you know what I mean. This one is absolutely stunning with those powdery florals blending in with the caramel to create this gorgeous image of maybe a caramel latte with, you know, a bunch of florals kind of on the side maybe, and maybe like a baked pear tart, you know, warm out the oven, served alongside it, something like that. It's just delicious, honestly. The lasting power of this one is really good, I would say. The projection is nice as well, actually. Whenever I've worn this, even when I've had my mask on, actually, throughout the day, I've been able to smell myself, and it's just such a comforting, delightful experience, you know, wearing this fragrance. It's just so beautiful. I would say if you enjoy your caramel notes, if you enjoy your really sweet, slightly powdery, kind of fruity scents, then I would definitely check this one out. I was not the biggest fan of The Only One 2, actually. I did used to own that one, and I kind of had high hopes for that one from looking at the notes, but as it turns out, the berry notes in that one were kind of too strong for me, and it was kind of this slightly tart, fruity rose scent, and I didn't really get on too well with that one. But I would say this one is definitely my favourite from all of the Dolce & Gabbana fragrances, really. I need to give the Intense version a try as well. I briefly sprayed that one once and I can't really remember what it smelled like, to be honest, so I need to revisit that one and give it like another try. But I adore this fragrance. It's such a good one, you guys. I would really recommend it, particularly for any of you who love the likes of La Vie Est Belle, Black Opium, Armani C. If you enjoy those kind of fragrances, I do think you would get on well with this one as well. It's so feminine and it's so Moorish. It's a very inviting fragrance, you know. It's the kind of scent that if you smelt this on somebody, you would kind of try and get closer, because it has that inviting warmth to it as well, if you know what I mean. It's just beautiful. So that is Dolce & Gabbana, The Only One. Next up today we have this interesting, unusual and spellbinding fragrance, Montblanc's Clot. Now I'm just going to remove this little charm here. It does look very nice, but it's kind of distracting and it moves around a lot, so I'm gonna pop that over there for now. I've never tried anything like this, ever. This perfume, it has quite a simplistic note profile, but it smells very complex to me. So the notes themselves are strawberry, musk, vanilla, almond, and Peru balm as well. Overall, this fragrance, upon the first spray, it's very strong of strawberry. It almost reminds me of those gummy strawberry Haribo sweets. It reminds me of those. But then when it dries down, it becomes this very interesting, multi-layered, multifaceted kind of strange but beautiful fragrance. So I think the Peru balm, I've no idea how that's meant to smell on its own, but overall this fragrance has a kind of balsamic quality to it. I'm thinking it's possibly coming from the Peru balm. This fragrance, it also has that prominent kind of nuttiness to it, which it almost reminds me of like a cherry Bakewell tart, but instead of cherry you had strawberry, you know? So it has that kind of baked goods feeling to it, but also something slightly plasticky, and it almost makes me think of dolls. Partly due to the plasticky nature of the scent itself, but also partially due to the comments that I've read, you know, people mentioning that this smells like those scented dolls that you used to be able to get, strawberry shortcake and things like that. So because of all those things that I've heard, it really, whenever I smell this now, it kind of reminds me of dolls. There's just something so interesting, aloof and strange about this fragrance that I'm so drawn to it, you know. It's almost like every time I smell it, I'm trying to figure it out. And it kind of leaves you wanting more, if you know what I mean. I remember one time actually Mila LeBlanc was talking about this fragrance and she said something like it smells like something that doesn't exist, and I just think she hit the nail on the head with that sort of description. I do find this to be a very comforting fragrance. I actually wore it to sleep last night actually, because it's quite a comforting, dreamy, you know, daydreamy kind of scent, you know. It's just really interesting to me, very Moorish, very sweet actually, very sweet, but it doesn't bother me, the sweetness. I actually really like it. Beautiful. So that is Montblanc Clot. And last up today, but by no means least, we have the gorgeous KALE Sweet Diamond Pink Pepper 25. Now, oh my goodness, you guys, this has been the perfect date night scent. It is just so feminine. It's so beautiful with that sweetness in there, kind of softly spicy with the saffron. It's got those woody notes. It's got your sandalwood in there as well, which I adore sandalwood. So it's kind of in there, adding to this addictive quality that the scent has. You have your vanilla, you have your magnolia as well, and your rose, I believe. This fragrance also has your kind of bergamot opening with the pink pepper. And it's so bright and sparkly, but kind of substantial at the same time, if you know what I mean. It's a very strong fragrance, and it's kind of maybe a bit heavier and sweet, but it's bright, sparkly and effervescent as well. I have been loving this fragrance recently, I really have. I've been wearing it quite a lot. I think going into the cooler weather, it's been more the sort of climate that I would feel comfortable wearing this one, so I've been really enjoying it. Like I say, it's just extremely feminine to me. It makes me feel so pretty and, you know, put together and confident and kind of bubbly as well. It's just such a gorgeous fragrance. I've really been enjoying it. I think it's truly beautiful. It's kind of a softer, more easygoing version of Oud Bouquet in some ways. There are, you know, a few similarities between those two fragrances, just to give you kind of an idea. But to me, like I say, this one is softer, more easygoing, more casual, easier to wear, that kind of thing. Whereas Oud Bouquet is more like elevated, it's more opulent, decadent, very heavy and rich, you know, whereas this one is lighter than Oud Bouquet and things like that. But I'm so happy with this one. This was actually a complete blind buy, and I can't believe how successful this was for it being a blind buy, you know. It was very well judged on my part. Oh my gosh, you guys, just insane. I really enjoy this one. Pretty, sparkling, flirty, feminine, and the perfect date night scent. So that is KALE Sweet Diamond Pink Pepper 25. So there we have it, everybody. Those are my top 10 sweet perfumes. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Very quickly before I forget, I'm going to mention the lipstick I'm wearing. It is Clinique Even Better Pop in shade number 12 Enamored. I'll leave it linked below. I do get asked that question quite a lot. My jewellery is from Ana Luisa. I'm going to be leaving that linked below as well with a discount code for you guys. My wee bag up there is from Sin Bono and I absolutely love it. I will leave that linked below as well with a discount coupon in case you guys are interested in any of these things. But anyway, thank you again for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys in the comments section. Take care, and I can't wait to see you again on my next video. Bye!